Hello, you brooding bastards, and welcome to my Batcave of trauma wallowing. I'm in my so-called show. Batman has no doubt gone through many changes over the past 85 years, distinguishing himself as the more darker, grittier take on the superhero genre that was already becoming more popular thanks to characters like Superman and Captain America during the era of World War II. And despite the popularity of the comics, the serials, the TV show, and the many different animated series he has gone through, I will be focusing more on his live-action movie interpretations, which means I'll be leaving out the serial Batman, as I haven't really watched them all to give you a valid opinion, and to be honest, I never really got any sense of characterization from these versions. I will also be excluding TV show versions, live action and animated, because if I did include animated voices, I would be here a long time, as there's so fucking many actors who have voiced Batman, and not only that, Kevin Conroy would already be my number one, with no competition.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
So no, it has to be the live-action movies and have to be theatrically released. So slutty cat ladies and not so Joker men, let's take a look at who is the ultimate live-action cinematic Batman.
I freeze. I'm Batman.
Coming last, at number 7, George Clooney. After the success of Batman Forever managed to shut up the pussies bitching about how dark Burton went with Batman Returns.
The second time I saw it, when I saw the younger kids, I really wanted to tell them not to see this. It's really scary.
Oh, shut up, you tart.
Warner Brothers got the bright idea of turning The Dark Knight into an even campier, nipplier, neon-lit joke.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
But with Val Kilmer's ego causing on-set clashes with Joel Schumacher on the previous Batman movie, as well as scheduling conflicts for the Saint, depending on what is true or not, former ER hunk George Clooney was tasked to donning the cape and cowl for the next Batman installment. Clooney should have been the ideal choice to play the billionaire playboy / dark Avenger. He had the dark look, the class, the charm and physique to pull off the role. Sadly, with a lacklustre script that seemed more catered for what was basically a toy commercial, George Clooney was never really given anything to work with. He just basically dons the batsuit, shows up, says his lines, punches a few people, and that's it. Not once was he allowed to convey the traumatised, vengeful orphan underneath the mask. All I saw was George Clooney playing George Clooney.
He's not even an actor! He just does the same cheesy move every time. Looks down, then looks back up, squinting underneath his eyebrows, and everybody's buying it!
And the fact he was basically sleepwalking through a movie that consists of nipple suits, ice puns,
Alright, everyone. Chill.
terrible effects, a plus that made as much sense as Disney still having enough money to commission more shit that no one will watch. It's no surprise that dear old Georgia Boy's performance feels phoned in.
Why are all the gorgeous ones homicidal maniacs? They're going to jail.
Boy, you guys are not sucking me into the story at all.
Thankfully, it didn't kill his career, as he would go on to do better movies. But sadly, despite being well cast, swoony Clooney's Dark Knight sadly fails to deploy his cape and falls flat into last place.
This is why Superman works alone.
The hell are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
At number 6, Robert Pattinson. And don't get me wrong, I liked Matt Reeves' The Batman, and the fact it went out of its way to bring Batman back to his detective roots was actually pretty cool, but Pattinson sadly fails to reach the heights of the rest, and while he does a decent job in the fight scenes and as the Bat, he suffers due to the fact his Batman is too grounded in realism, robbing him of the theatrics that made Batman. When I see Batman glide across the city, I want him to look like a bat, not a flying squirrel. When I see him chase down a perp in the Batmobile, I want to see him chase down the perp in a Batmobile, not an automobile. Not only that, he plays Bruce Wayne more as a mopey emo.
Life is pain. Life is only pain.
He lacks any of the charm needed to give his interpretation any personality, and yet I get he's on a mission to rid Gotham of crime to the point it's consuming him. But like I said, he's too emo-ish. He storms in through the front door, announcing his presence way too many times, at times when he could just break in stealthily with no one noticing, as he's supposed to be a shadowy figure. Not only that, I just don't like the costume either. Yeah, I get it's more practical and tactical, but it looks too clunky and overdone. Don't get me wrong, there's still room for him to grow in the role. As you can tell, he's taking the role seriously. And hopefully the Batman 2 will evolve his character more, but for now, despite getting the detective noirish aspect of the character right, Pattinson sadly ranks only above Clooney and below the rest.
Persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir?
I'll get drive-through.
Number 5, Val Kilmer. After Burton left due to Warner Brothers hinting they wanted him out, Michael Keaton also jumped ship when he heard replacement Joel Schumacher was going to make the next movie more kid-friendly, leading to the late Val Kilmer to don the cape, and to be fair, he is pretty good in the role and you can tell he's giving it his all. Unlike Clooney just phoning it in, Val still solved the trauma and guilt that has plagued Wayne all these years, while also trying to evolve him into a more surrogate father figure for an angry young man who is going through the same pain as him. But despite him giving the role his all, he is sadly hindered by the fact his Batman is in a movie that feels tonally inconsistent to his portrayal of the character, and not to mention the fact he's playing the part dead seriously, wearing a suit with nipples on them.
Oh my.
And when you wear a suit with nipples on them, it's hard to take you seriously. But I still prefer him to Pattinson because he still had some aspects that felt true to Batman. The theatrics, the moral compass, the romanticism. And if Joel Schumacher had been allowed to make a darker, grittier third movie, I probably would have rated him higher. A noble effort on Kilmer, but sadly due to killboy mums raising snowflakes like this twat, this Batman sadly could never be forever.
I understand.
Emergency. Batman speaking. Warning all of you to brace yourselves for big news.
Number 4. Adam West.
Adam West, Adam West.
Now, before you say something, the Batman 66 movie counts. It was released in theatres, so fuck off. Adam West's portrayal of the Caped Crusader was a product of its time, and while I prefer the more darker portrayals of Batman, I still have a soft spot for Adam West. He portrays the character more as a charming Boy Scout with dad jokes, and yeah, Clooney and Kilmer's Batman were goofy, but Adam West pulled it off better. As you can see, he knows that the show is goofy, yet he's still playing the role as seriously as possible in order to make the deadpan delivery work.
That exploding shark was pulling my leg.
Only Adam West could walk around in that dorky suit and still make it work. Only Adam West could say dumb lines like this.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
And still make it work. And okay, he wasn't really as intimidating as Affleck or complex as Keaton, but he was still endearing and played the role with some actual integrity. Well, as much as you could with crazy stuff like this.
Hand me down the shark repellent bat spray.
But it's a portrayal that feels consistent. He had the looks, the deadpan delivery, and it looks like he was enjoying himself. So overall, while West's version is dumb, campy, and may not be to everyone's taste, there's no denying this Caped Crusader still packs up.
And that's just a sample of the exciting exploits ahead in our first feature motion picture.
What the hell are you? I'm Batman. Nice coat.
Free Christian Bale. After Batman and Robin buried the franchise in a sea of ice puns and bat nipples, the 5th installment, Batman Triumphant, would later be cancelled. But once the reboot, which would become Batman Begins, was in development, Christian Bale was cast, and despite his frail physique from The Machinist, Bale managed to bulk up and thankfully pull off the role, bringing back the traumatised, brooding badass that felt more grounded than the previous versions from before, playing him more like a ninja, while also pulling off the more playboy aspects of the character, which was truer to the comics. Bale had the looks, the charm, the acting ability, and convincingly portrayed the guilt that had plagued him since childhood. He brought back the dark, brutal vigilante from the brink of a neon-lit shitshow of the Schumacher movies and reminded people Batman could still be badass. And while he looked pretty cool in the first suit, sadly he would change into a suit later on that, while more practical and less stiff than Keaton's suits, looked way too gimpy, while also having him move too slow in the fight scenes. Not only that, his Batman would suffer from the fact he would be cruelly made fun of due to, well, this.
Where's the trigger? Where is it? I'm not wearing hockey pads.
And I'm sorry, as much as I love Bale in the role, the voice ruins any sense of intimidation, especially since we already had Keaton and Conroy do such a great job with the Batman voice without sounding retarded. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people out there who still consider him the best Batman, but I'm sorry, when someone talks like this...
Where were the other drugs going?
And it leads to parodies like Pete Holmes,
Betty be kick and punch.
And even other movies making fun of the voice.
Give me the camera.
Oh, look, he's doing his Batman voice.
I'm an angel keeping watch over the city at night.
What do you mean, what happened to my voice?
Laying it does cost points. And while I like the fact he really went into delving into the psychology of the character, I felt he delved too much, robbing the mystery of the character. Because even though the animated series version delved into peeling away the character's layers, his version still would leave room for the audience to come to their conclusions.
The voice kept calling me Bruce. In my mind, that's not what I call myself.
What do you call yourself? Oh yeah, I suppose you would.
But that said, I still think he was good in the role. He still captured what we loved about the character. That would also be an influence on the Arkham Asylum games. So while he may not have been the best Batman we needed, he was still the decent Batman we deserved.
So that's what that feels like.
Number 2, Ben Affleck. Yes, I know the DCEU has divided fans to the point where pointless battles were waged. We lost a lot of Snyderbots that day. But while I also have my complaints on the Snyderverse, DCEU and the Marvel Light DCEU, the franchise would later become,
Something is definitely bleeding.
There's no denying Batfleck fucking owned every moment he was on screen. And while we had people bitching at his casting back in 2013, Affleck knocks it out of the fucking park. Or should I say, fucking killed it multiple times. Yeah, this guy went on full Punisher mode, but I'm sorry, he fucking rocks. This is a Batman that really captured the look and feel of the grizzled, mentally worn Batman we saw in The Dark Knight Returns. While Bale and Keaton's Batman were better written, I still liked his interpretation of a Batman that has lost his way, a Batman that has been defeated, but is now forced to take up the mantle again, and Affleck sells the trauma of a man who has allowed his demons to consume him. He's not just a vigilante, he's a hardened soldier on a mission. When he wears the suit, he looks like a force of nature. When he's out his way, he captures the charm. I mean, look at this scene with him and Wonder Woman. These two give me seductive Cold War spy vibes. And the warehouse scene still might be the best Batman fight scene ever captured on film. Christ, look at him go. He's a fucking beast. But of course he does find his way and ends up becoming more and more like the more altruistic Wayne in the later Snyderverse movies. And even in the Marvel Light versions, which sadly had to make him look goofier and dumber at times.
I developed this all-powerful persona to compensate for my childhood trauma. I'd do a lot better just giving all that money away. If I really want to end crime, I should end poverty.
Fuck off! Fucking dick!
Christ, I don't know what they did to him in the Flash, but fuck me, that has to be the worst bat outfit ever. He looks like he's wearing a bat bra. My bat nipples are chafing. But even in the later movies, he still managed to be likeable in the role. And it's a shame he never got a solo movie, or a chance to see his character progress with the Snyderverse. Yeah, Snyder's a twat, but I still would have liked to have seen this version of his universe completed. But I digress, even though he suffered from bad scripts, Affleck had the look, the presence, and captured the brutish nature of the Dark Knight.
Don't kill me, man! Don't kill me! Don't kill me, man!
I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
And number 1, Michael Keaton. Yeah, I know, original, so edgy, not so obvious, but I'm sorry, I don't care that he's different to the comics. To me, Keaton was and still is the best live-action movie Batman. And it was so crazy at the time to think that this scrawny, not physically imposing at all guy who was more well known for Mr. Mom could actually pull off playing this dark, ruthless, unstoppable vigilante so convincingly. With Keaton, it shouldn't have worked. In fact, people went fucking nuts when they heard he was cast, to the point of threatening to boycott the movie if they didn't recast him. Thankfully, the studio stuck to their guns and kept him on because he nailed the role. Was he true to the comics? Well, kinda and kinda not, but it was a different interpretation that suited Keaton more. And while most Bruce Waynes had a playboy charm that would be used as a way to shrug away any suspicions of being Batman, Keaton's Wayne was much more reclusive, socially awkward, choosing to spend more time in the caves than his mansion. But could also be unintentionally charming when he needed to.
Do you like eating in here?
Oh, yeah. You want to know the truth? I don't think I've ever been in this room before. Do you want to get out of here?
Yes.
He may not have looked the part, but that's why it worked. You would never suspect he could be Batman. He's the type of guy who would need to wear the suit to actually come across imposing. And after nearly 40 years since the first Batman came out, he still looks pretty intimidating, even though the suit was stiffer than the entire male audience at a Sydney Sweeney movie showing.
Oh my.
But the stiff movements made him come across more otherworldly. And even without the suit, he still had those eyes that could say a lot without him needing to spell anything out. Without any word of dialogue, he could convey so much in a short amount of time, which is why I prefer him to Bale, because Keaton knew that less is more. In fact, he was one of the rare instances an actor would demand dialogue be cut as he felt it robbed him of the mystery. Not only that, he came across as a guy who was always one step ahead, except for jumping off buildings to repel princesses to safety. Seriously, you're Batman, you can do all that shit. And unlike Pattinson's automobile and Bale's tank, his Batmobile looks like a fucking Batmobile. He had a gadget for every occasion. He was a man on a mission to clean up the streets and protect the innocent, no matter what. But he was also a man who was discovering his humanity. Christ, the first time he sees Vicky Vale, you can see he's starting to think about having a normal life. And don't get me wrong, I do like the other actors. It's just Keaton is the one that plays the part almost to perfection, despite being so different to the original source material. But it's a change that works. It made him more interesting, while also making you worried he could end up being consumed by his dark obsession. So overall, despite being a controversial casting choice at the time, Michael Keaton wasn't just vengeance. All the night, he was Batman. And that was my Batman rankings, and I'm probably going to have some complaints Okay, a fucking lot, but just bear in mind, this is still my opinion. If you disagree and think Bale, Affleck or even Clooney was the best Bat, feel free to leave a comment and I'll happily respect that opinion in my own way.
Go fuck yourself.
But all kidding aside, even if you don't agree with my rankings, I'm completely okay with it, as we all have our preferences. It shows just how flexible the Dark Knight can be portrayed. Each performance is different, but at the same time, they still have their similarities. It's these different interpretations that have kept the character fresh for decades, and even though the character is pushing 90, Batman continues to be not just the hero we need, but the hero we deserve. And whether you brooding bastards are Northern English or not, thanks for watching, but right now that's me done, and I'm off to the Bat Pub.